This will be a review on Thor, the Epic Collection, War of the Pantheons. And this is part of their new book series called the Marvel Epic Collection. And what this will be about is a line that is in between a Marvel Essential and a Marvel Omnibus. The Omnibus books are about $100 and really expensive, and the Essential lines are cheap at about $20, but it's black and white, a lot of pages, and it's missing the color art. And Marvel's response to making a bigger volume is this epic imprint. It says right here, Thor 383 to 400, so that's 18 issues. And the retail price here is $34.99. So it's $35, but online discounts, you're about maybe $25 or less, depending. And before I get to this format, I just want to compare it. I mean, this is the Thor Epic Collection. This is about the typical Marvel trade paperback. You see, it is the same size. If I put it on top, it's the same book in terms of the format size. But if you look at the thickness, you can see that the Epic book is considerably thicker, almost double. This is the Epic Collection. I mean, you could see on the left the Essential is still thicker, but it's in black and white. And this is the Epic Collection next to a Omnibus. You can see that the Omnibus is much thicker, but still it uses a thicker paper quality. An Omnibus runs about 1,000 pages on average. Thor volume runs about 460 pages. So this is typical Epic Collection volumes. Then this is about 500 pages. I guess overall, while it's not a Marvel Omnibus, it is an affordable range book that is, while not an essential, it is between an essential and a regular Marvel trade paperback. You should also note that it uses glued binding and not the more expensive sewn binding. The glue binding is cheaper, but it can fall apart with use, and the sewn binding really doesn't fall apart. And there really isn't such a bad problem in the middle. On some books you can't even see the middle art. Here it's a bit tight, but it's still definitely readable and workable. The paper quality is good paper quality in terms of the reproduction, the art, and just the way the page feels. It is a high-end paper. It's not the cheap newsprint. The art here looks restored in terms of the colors, and it does look pretty good, to be quite honest. On the inner back page is an ad. On the inner front page is an ad. And the one thing I really don't like here is, you see the back cover art? I would rather have preferred it to have been like a Marvel Omnibus where they show you the issues in the back. In this Omnibus example, they show you how many issues you got. It gives you an idea when you look at it. When you get something like this, the Epic line, it just shows you back art, but you really have no idea what the covers look like or the contents of it. Well, that would be just it's a nice idea that if you have a lot of issues, just to show the covers, it gives you a quick glimpse into, how many issues you're getting, and you could see it. So maybe in the future, if they do more Epic books, they could switch to that format. But the overall design, before I even get to the contents of this Thor volume, the overall design, even though it has glued binding, it runs about 400 to 500 pages probably at $35, and you can get it cheaper online. It's a really good investment, I think. Before we get further into the review here, I just want to show you the format. You see it says Epic Collection, the Marvel logo here at the top. The side, you can see the Marvel logo says Epic Collection. It says the name, a description, And it shows you the E for the Epic line. And you can see the barcode there. It also says at the bottom here, the Epic Collection feature the best characters and stories from Marvel's vast history. Volumes are not published in chronological order, so start your collection today with this edition and look inside for a complete list of available and upcoming releases. Basically, they're telling you it's not going to go in order 1 to 10, 11 to 20. It's just going to pick a character's history, the best storylines, and republish those stories in a collected edition. Now let's check it out. This is the cover here. It says here on the opening page, The Mighty Thor, War of the Pantheons, Volume 16, 1987 to 1989. Thor 383 to 400. I like that they used a year like that. Something new. But Volume 16... It says here, Captain America, Dawn's Early Light, Volume 9. Fantastic Four, Volume 17. And yet the Epic Collection... those books are not out, or that I don't know of them being out, because there's only supposed to be like 4 or so volumes this year out, and it's the start of a new format, so I don't know. Either this is volume 16 and all the other character titles, let's say Spider-Man, the Avengers, those count as volumes in the series, even though the books are not out, at least that I don't know of. I just don't understand how this is volume 16 when it should be volume 1 of Thor, and if they make another Thor 1 volume 2, that's kind of just weird. Next page tells you the writers, all of the creators here, and this is the table of contents page. Thor 383, September 1987, all the way to Thor 400, February 1989. Issue 383. It's the cover. It's a team of DeFalco and Ron Frenz and Brett Breeding. Those 3 creators really have a 1980s style to it and sensibilities. And I say that as a good thing. It's like old school comic books. They know what they're doing. Without wanting to spoil the storyline, this is about a war between basically the gods. Like, it has the Celestials in it, Seth, and it introduces Eric Masterson, who would later be the future Thor and Thunderstrike. It also has the Avengers. This was actually probably one of my first Thor issues that I bought back in the day. And it's reprinted in the storyline. Really good stuff. It's all reproduced nicely here. There's no ads in the middle of the story or the middle of the book. The paper quality, as mentioned, is good, and the coloring. And even though it takes a little effort to get it perfectly in the middle, but you can see the art, it's not obscured or hidden, which that's really annoying when that happens in a book. Even though it is a bunch of issues, this storyline, it's really pretty good. It's a nice look back, and especially for readers who never picked up a Thor volume before, you will understand what's going on. You're not going to get lost. And there are different glimpses of characters in the Marvel Universe that appear throughout this story. See, that's a good cover. Black Knight. This was an interesting issue because they were trying to introduce some new Egyptian type of themed heroes, but they never took off. They never became anything special in the Marvel Universe. But they tried to start something new with a new team, and it didn't happen. And actually, this might have been, even though I said it before about the other issue, this might have been my first Thor solo issue in this title. And the reason I bought it was because of Captain America. When he was wearing his captain gear, it was a crossover issue, and I wanted to read it for Captain America, really. And then I ended up buying Thor issues, which, you know, isn't that the perfect marketing idea? And what Stan Lee innovated back then was guest starring characters in other books in the hope that you would actually buy the new book from now on. And, hey, for me, it actually worked. Here's a question. Is Captain America worthy of lifting Thor's hammer? I guess you'll have to read the volume to know. They do give you some bonus content, but not a lot. I always like seeing extras in a volume, but there's not too much here. So, when all is said and done, I think Thor the Epic Collection, I find the format idea pretty good. It is nice and more affordable, and for those who do not want an essential because of the black and white art and the lack of color, then I think this is for you. If you collect the Marvel Omnibus, that's really cool, but it's so expensive that not everyone can afford those volumes. And from what I'm reading, this Epic Collection, they're going to try and not focus these volumes on stuff that you already bought. So if you bought an omnibus, they don't want to reprint the omnibus material again. So that is pretty good, just to be aware of what else they have published, so they're not just reprinting it and you could buy it in another format. They want to go with like all new material, and this I've not seen before with this many issues reprinted. And so it's definitely something you want to check out. They're going to have future volumes on Spider-Man, on the Avengers, and all the big names. So that's Thor, and it also is an introduction to the Epic Collection book format. If you like this video, comment and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.